Is Mr. Know-It-All.
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this message. I'm Thomas Fessa, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Thursday, August 13th. Who would think the year's going by so fast? Well, we're back with yet another episode, and who do we've got? Well, we've got good old David Grusch out today, my friends, and he's got a lot of things to say. Who would have thought that Dr. Phil would come out of nowhere and give us one of the most compelling if you want to call interviews with David Grusch? On that note, let's go ahead and welcome in the audience, and we'll have a good time going over all of this today. Let me go ahead. I moved the chat. Let me go ahead and pop it out so I can go ahead and look at it here really quick. And of course, let me go ahead and find the list of all of our participants. Let me welcome in everybody who's out there. Well, starting off at the top of the list, we've got the Greasy Weasel again, along with Alan Woods. Good to see Anonymous. We've got Anunwin, Phil, April, Banana Booey. Good to see a Cabriolet. Chan 30's out there, along with Chief Von Beef, Circus Brains, and Craig Smith, all in a row. We got Daily Saging Donna, Dan Larev, Eliza Teal. Good to see Eliza. Elvis Row 10 is there, along with Firefly, Francis, Galactic Family Podcast, Grateful Benny, Hobbit Mouse, It's Stellar Yo, and of course Jake's not from State Farm. J Shack 1 is out there, along with J Cat Meow, JP Six Gunner, along with Kelly Brote and those deer piercing blue eyes. Good to see you, Kelly. Light Melinda's out there, along with Lori G, Marcus the Mandels. We got Matt and Mike and Mr. Joey B. NYC Elevator guys out there, along with Perfectly Imperf, Psychosmatic Insane, and Randy Robert John. Would you look at that? We got Roni Deal, Sam, Scooby Dooby Gooby, Shelly Montgomery, Steve Mateo, Storm Chaser, Super Unknown, and Sweaty Nerd. Well, that's a little bit more to go. Yes, we got the two Cruisin', True Blood, Vamp, Skydar, Wasteland Wonder, and of course, someone at the bottom, Yankee 5858. Hey, I just about made it there today. Except now I've got the reflection from a light that I can't see OBS with. Let me jump into the studio and welcome everybody. And yeah, I'll fix the whole bouncing back and forth eventually. Welcome everybody. Cheers to national security. Yeah, we've got a good one today. Didn't expect this to happen. David Grusch on appearing with Dr. Phil, because I tell you, I've written some horrible, scathing attacks on Dr. Phil and his audience from some people in the community whose names I will not mention. And it was just really shocking, to say the absolute least, how they viewed Phil, but then how they viewed his audience. You know, we love everybody here at Disclosure Tonight, and especially Dr. Phil, because he's reaching out and he's connecting with that other 90% of people who just aren't part of the whole UFO scene. On that note, before we get too far into it, let me say those three magic words and well, get in the studio first. Mike, how the hell are you?
I'm doing well. Seems like we have a lot to talk about tonight.
Oh, do we do? Yeah, we do, don't we?
We do, yeah. That was one hell of an interview with Dr. Phil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure if that's going to be as good as the interview we're going to have with Lou next week, Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, that's going to be, I think that's going to be a lot to talk about with Lou as well. It should be fun, like it was the last time when he recently came on. So we're going to continue that, yeah.
That was the teaser.
Yes, it was. The appetizer.
Yeah, it was a good one. So we all survived last night's show as usual.
We did.
Closed down the bar and grill just perfectly. Daryl's here. Happy Thirsty Thursdays. Absolutely. National security. Daryl, you said the magic word. So clinky.
I'm on the other side again.
Here you go.
Clinky. Take your bottle drinky.
Clinky.
Woo.
There you go. I gotcha. Cling. There you go.
Oh, am I mirrored on the wrong side again?
Yeah.
What's up, Corporal?
He was back. How about that? All right. Tis the day to talk about Grusch. Is there other stuff going on? Yeah, there's a bunch of little pickup things going on. Everyone's talking about Grusch, though. I have to say everybody and their brother is talking about Grusch at this point. So it should be a good one. Should be a really good one. Just want to make sure I didn't screw up anything else here. Is it all working? Is chat still there? Did I kill it? Thomas said a tiki cup. Yep, it's working. Yes, it's a tiki cup from Bob Chin's Crab House in Wheeling, Illinois. I may have to send
Wheeling.
God, what's his name again? One of our viewers whose name Pitbull. Gotta ask him. He's in our audience.
He's in Wheeling?
Yeah. He's near Wheeling, Illinois, yes.
Spent some time in
He
Wheeling.
grew up in the town right next to where I lived growing up, where I had all my fun as a child. So, all right, let's delay no more. Let me get to the right spot. Damn it, let me move this so I can see this a little bit fucking more. Come on, goddammit. Here we go. Video full Thomas guest. All right, Daryl, let me go ahead and get this picture settled in and dialed in or adjust the antenna so there's no diathermy or interference going on. Remember back in the days you used to have to get up and adjust the antenna on the roof, Daryl?
You know what's great about this whole chat is people in this room right now, whatever watching, a lot of them get that. Based on our age, our what do you call it? Our demographics.
Yeah.
But yeah, and of course in South Bend, Indiana, as a kid, you always had the antenna pointed towards Chicago, so you could get WGN.
Oh, there you go. Yep, exactly. Same here, except I've got too many fucking tall trees. I can't get HDTV signals for shit with an antenna. I'd have to have 2 or 3 all pointing different directions. But
yeah,
anyway.
those trees tend to diffuse the signal.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
Let's get to it. Here we go. God, I gotta stop saying that. Here we go.
Tonight I'm talking with a whistleblower, and I want you to hold on to that word because it is a word that matters. A whistleblower is someone on the inside who see something that they believe is wrong and make a very important decision. They decide the rest of us have a right to know, even when telling the truth can cost them everything. His name is David Grusch, 14 years in the Air Force, and then held some of the most closely guarded secrets as an intelligence officer. Closely guarded secrets, the biggest this country has. Then he went in front of the United States Congress under oath and said the government has recovered craft that were, in his words, quote, not made by human beings, and hid it from the very people who are supposed to be watching. And look, I'm like you. If that's true, I want to see it. Show me the craft. Show me the proof.
Before we dive in, a quick thank you to Preserve You
tonight. If this is true, why aren't we seeing any of it? Where's the evidence? Who's holding it? And why does every door close right when we get close? That's what I want to walk away with. Not a verdict on aliens, but the truth about a man who blew the whistle and about why the proof the whole country is asking for still isn't in our hands. So let's just get straight into it. David, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thanks, Dr. Phil.
This was something that you did based on what you have seen, and it has come at a very high price to you. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, absolutely. It came at a very high price, and I had to essentially sacrifice, my career to do what I thought was right.
Why was it so important to you, and what did you see that was so important to you that you were willing to do what you had to know was going to have a profound effect on the trajectory of your career?
Yeah, in terms of why I did it, certainly there was an implication that our nation's leaders was not being provided this, unbelievable information about our place in the cosmos. But myself, my coworkers, friends, supervisors, were attacked for enabling me and helping me in my investigation. So it was a combination of needing to get off the X and definitely suffering some reprisal activities, but also realizing this information, half of it shouldn't be classified. Humanity has a right to know certain basic facts about, different types of life. and seeing what Congress was not being told and not having appropriate insight akin to the church pipe committees of the 1970s and not having insight on the CIA, NSA, and FBI's activities. I just thought it was wrong that this was allowed to go unchecked for so many years.
Well, as we've seen from the disclosures that have been made, it's interesting when you actually see the documents. I guess the MO has been to hide this from the country going back as far as 1947, the Robertson panel. Everything has been, move along, folks, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. When they would say that and then simultaneously be spending huge amounts of money, dedicating huge resources to trying to figure out what's going on while they're telling the American people, nothing to it, move along, nothing to see here. But yet they're diving into it very deeply and keeping that a secret. And I think the first thing I said about this when those documents came out was, our government's been lying to us for 79 years, and I'm furious about that. And that bothered me a lot. I said it should bother everybody in America. It certainly bothered you.
Yeah, certainly you're right. Yeah, the 1953 Robertson panel kind of changed the tone and developed a systematic ridicule process while the government was secretly taking this very seriously. And what we saw in some of the recent tranches was documents from early 50s, late 40s showing how serious the Air Force, the Navy, et cetera, were taking this. They ruled out classified U.S. programs. They ruled out foreign programs that other countries were pursuing. Obviously, what's left is either natural phenomenon or some other anomalous intelligence that we don't understand. But the government had taken it seriously and kind of buried it behind the scenes while engaging in activities like Project Blue Book, et cetera, explaining away the phenomenon as something prosaic, ball lightning, swamp gas, very famously, right? And of course, that wasn't true. The government not only was studying this, but then formed a material recovery and exploitation program. So if you accept the fact that UAP are real, which I think we're at that point, common consensus, guess what? Sometimes these things land or crash. And simply what I brought to the Inspector General and what I briefed Congress, both classified and in a public setting, is the fact that we've had this recovery program of actually recovering that empirical evidence. And kind of like the movie Indiana Jones, we've stashed it all over the place, and all the big contractors are involved.
Just not under a house in Estonia that Ross is claiming.
And the CIA, Office of Naval Intelligence, something called federally funded research and development centers, a lot of them were involved in the analysis over the decades. And unfortunately, very few people in Congress knew, very few presidents knew as temporary employees, or leaders of our country, and kind of the intelligentsia deep state that unfortunately, or fortunately, because I learned the ways of the force, so to speak, that I was a part of for years, kept that torch burning and controlled the issue and allowed the political appointees to essentially come and go without many of them knowing.
So you say that there is you refer to as the deep state. There is a bureaucratic machinery that actually keeps this from the President of the United States, because they are regarded as temporary employees who are going to be out in 4 or 8 years, and this apparatus doesn't want them knowing that information and being like out in the world and able to then talk about it.
Exactly. And this is a common practice. I mean, when I was back in the intelligence community, there were sensitive programs I worked on that we purposely...
Daryl, you have your hand up?
Notice in the background, all of his diplomas and so forth are blurred out. I thought that was awkward. And I looked back through three other interviews he did in the same space. They're also blurred out. So it's not a feature of Dr. Phil. I don't think they're editing that out. But why would you set up here with all these things that you have to blur out?
Because the camera is I'm not sure where the camera is focusing on. I don't think it's maybe focusing on David. It may be focusing on something here, but because they're out of focus, that's why you're getting it. The further back it goes, the more
it looks awfully blurred out to me. Okay,
possibly, but
I've just noticed in every
but his overall image quality is really bad.
I will say that the diploma he's got over his left ear, it says the University of Pittsburgh, and you could tell that from another video.
It's a filter like they have in Google Meet, where you can go ahead and take your background and you can have it show up and put a slight blur on it. That's might be what's going on.
Just don't know why it's set up there with all that then.
But that does say University of Colorado.
No, the one over his left ear says the University of Pittsburgh. And you could tell that it was much clearer. There was another one that was much clearer, another video, and you still had the other ones blurry.
You know, Daryl, it could be his wife's diploma. She's a medical officer for the CIA. She has degrees as well, I'm sure. Could be him or his wife that's on the wall.
They share the nook?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next to the fireplace in the living room, yes. Here we
go.
Is
that the fireplace?
Yeah, it looks like it. They got the stone on the wall. Maybe, maybe not.
Hid from the Director of National Intelligence, oversight staff, stuff we only briefed the White House, and kept it away from Congress through a unique shell game of not reporting programs. And I've had sensitive meetings with senior officials of this administration, and they've also encountered that where they're briefed by one thing by CIA in their one hat at the White House, and then when they go to another agency and sit in a briefing for that same program, they're telling another cabinet member a totally different story about what this classified program is doing. So this is a very common practice. And, even going back to MK Ultra, remember Richard Helms in 1973 ordered Sidney Gottlieb to destroy all the MK Ultra documents. There was a shell game within the CIA to prevent the Inspector General, General Counsel, Congress from learning about the program. And we only know what we know about MK Ultra through the financial records that were found and stored separately. So that's why we know, 30% of what was going on. And the CIA had this document destruction process. And I do worry if President Trump hasn't provided a either classified or otherwise, historical document preservation notice hold, that a lot of the information on the UAP recovery program is being destroyed as we speak, akin to MK Ultra in the 70s.
And
wait a minute, isn't there something that they're not supposed to destroy any UAP records, and any UAP records that are over a certain age within their possession, they're supposed to go ahead and send across to the National Archives? So I think Congress put that in place some time ago, but maybe not to the extent of what Dave would like to see.
Well, the CIA sometimes ignores the rules, so yeah.
Yeah.
tell people what Project MK Ultra was about, the human experimentation program. Aircraft tomorrow help us give up to told what Project MK Ultra was about, the human experimentation program.
Yeah, so there was a whole MK series to include Operation Chaos, which was domestic influence operations. But MK Ultra started in the 50s, and I'm certainly not the expert, but essentially it was a mind control experimentation program, also using different types of drugs such as LSD, and they were dosing innocent civilians in clinics, and they were experimenting with pretty intense mind control capabilities because the CIA got wind that Russia was also experimenting with this kind of thing, and they wanted to create Manchurian candidate assassins and other things. And there was Chairwoman Lunar had a hearing about it recently. And, believe it or not, there were some spinoffs as well during that period. The psychic spy program at Stanford Research Institute was created because, once again, Russia was experimenting in this extrasensory perception and kind of the more woo type stuff. But a lot of these, what you would consider fringe ideas were being looked at back in the 70s. But what we did catch was CIA paying off journalists at major news organizations. That's the whole Mockingbird thing that you hear. And there was just a lot of unsavory things. And it's been reported by a particular author whose name escapes me, that even Charles Manson would have possibly been in the MK Ultra program. And there's a whole book on that. And the gentleman testified with Chairwoman Luna's committee recently, and I encourage you to watch that video.
Right, and I've spoken with Representative Luna, and we've talked about this a little bit, and I think that there's going to be a lot coming out about this, and I don't think there's any question that drugs were being used, and the idea was enhanced interrogation, and I don't think there's any question that there were violations of human rights, and there's a definite desire to keep all that from coming out publicly, because it's not very flattering to our government when those sort of things come out. And I think we've had times in our history, I think MK Ultra is one, JFK, and those records, and now we're looking at this, and you take me through. There had to be a moment in time when you had to sit down, and certainly the night before you made your first declaration about these things that went from classified to going public with it, when you had to cross the threshold and decide, okay, I'm doing this, I'm just going to do it. Take me through your thought process and what challenges you had to face in making the decision to do this, because you had to know what was going to happen when you did. You had to know, I'm falling on a grenade here when I do this.
Yeah, it was a very hard decision. And after I fought off some of the administrative terrorism I faced and, maintained my top secret clearance, I went back at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, and I saw the writing on the wall. I saw that they were not going to allow me to do my job. I saw the minefield that they were creating for me. And I had a long discussion with my wife. And, my wife was a former CIA medical officer, an Air Force officer. So she had, a top secret clearance at one point and understood a lot of the background of my investigation and the terrorism that I faced, and knew the intelligence community's tricks. And I realized I wasn't going to be able to continue my career at this point because the venom was out to get me, and I saw others being affected as well. So I used what I call the Russian Ministry of Defense doctrine, which is to escalate to de-escalate. And so I escalated to the highest level possible, both to protect myself and my family, but to keep the wolves at bay, so to speak. And that mostly worked. What I talked about in the June 9th presser is the Air Force did unsuccessfully try to file an Espionage Act unauthorized disclosure complaint against me when I did go public, which is kind of hilarious. And unfortunately, I had to resign my Air Force officer commission because I foresaw an attack of that nature. If I stayed in the Air Force on the reserve side, I really thought that the Air Force was probably going to come after me using the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And I was mostly correct that was, going to be one of their things that they were going to try. So I had to essentially kill my career and, miss my promotion to Lieutenant Colonel in the Air Force Reserve. And, and I was only a couple years away from retirement. And I'm working right now to try to get a medical retirement and that promotion that I missed through a records correction process. So we'll see if the Air Force actually honors my sacrifice and gives me that, but that's up to a particular board that works for the Secretary of the Air Force right now. But it was a very hard decision. I mean, my whole identity was built around being an intel officer, being, a super spook for the government, and having to totally change my lifestyle and look for another job. And the amount of money I've spent on legal fees and the income I've lost was really unfortunate. And so I guess I have a very high justice sensitivity with a little touch of autism and ADHD. And I decided, screw it. I'm going to do what's right because I'm looking left and right. And I just don't see, anybody else taking the leadership needed on this and talking about the real skeleton in the closet, which is this material recovery and reverse engineering program.
There we go.
There was a pretty focused effort to assassinate your character and imply that you were mentally unstable and impeach you as being mentally unstable, having autism, things that they could use to say, well, consider the source. And you didn't run from that. You owned that and said, yes, I've had PTSD from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You described yourself as a high-functioning individual on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
And you said, I will absolutely say that, but you cannot weaponize that against me. I absolutely know right from wrong. I know what I know and what I don't know. So you didn't run from that. You leaned into it and said, yeah, that's right. What's that got to do with what I'm talking about? So you kind of took that on head on and killed it where it stood.
Exactly. And they did try to relitigate, past PTSD issues that I reported to every agency I worked for, the security apparatus, and they tried to relitigate it and claim that I didn't report all my mental health issues. So they launched this huge investigation. I handed over all my medical records. And of course, I was cleared of any, issues. And then when that didn't work, they opened up a criminal investigation on me and other individuals, other associates of mine. And of course, that didn't work as well. I was cleared of all wrongdoing there. And there was this iterative attack to try to destroy me from a personal conduct and mental health perspective. And it's hilarious because a particular security office at a particular agency I used to work at leaked and tipped off about my PTSD and my previous struggles that I've, taken ownership for to a journalist at The Intercept, literally within a couple of days of me testifying in July 2023, to try to shoot the messenger, to try to character assassinate me, not going after my claims, but going after my person. And, what I experienced PTSD-wise is very common in the veteran community. And once again, I reported it. I've always maintained my security clearance. I've had a clearance for 21 years, Dr. Phil. And I just thought it was very disgusting and gross that they tipped off a journalist about that to do a hit piece on me. And interestingly enough, I was actually warned 2 months in advance. Hey, Dave, a friend of mine called me who was involved in these programs that I served in the Air Force with. And he's like, they're going to leak the stuff out of your security files about your PTSD. And a true story. And I was like, dude, no way. That is so cringe and disgusting. They would never do something like that. But once again, the intel I got was true. And unfortunately, they did that. So, that just shows you they're trying to attack me asymmetrically because they can't attack, the truth that I'm bringing to the American public.
So the people that are accusing you of violating your ethics are using unethical means to discredit what you're saying. And, you think back to 5th grade, if you're in an argument with somebody and they're losing the argument, what do? They start attacking your character, or your mother wears army boots. They start going after anything except the topic because they're losing on the topic. So it's funny how it goes full circle.
Okay, someone in the back is pointing out, Daryl, which you've pointed out before, that there's a UFO picture in the background. And I believe it's this little dot here that's on the space shuttle.
On a much better broadcast, and much more high definition picture on another broadcast. Yeah, I've got it somewhere probably on my computer. If I do, I'll pull it up. I'll put it as my tile. But it's essentially an anomalous kind of thing out there in the center of that picture.
It's not a disclosure dot.
Out of the back of a space shuttle.
Yeah.
That's the space shuttle.
Exactly. And there is something that is I can't see it. Let me move this out of the way. The upper part up here, there is something that's pointy up here. No idea what it is. But could be some kind of craft or who knows what. Or it could be, what it reminds me of? Reminds me of one of those trophies they give away from the Disclosure Foundation.
Yeah, that's what it is.
There we go.
Circle all the way from the playground to the United States government when they're trying to discredit somebody. And, we've seen it, and, it's part of the psyop that goes into all of this, sadly. You have hard evidence, you have seen documentation, and in fact, pictures of what? Tell us what, and you've testified about this, so
Yeah.
tell us exactly what it is.
But I think we're going to get a bit more detail here, so pay attention, folks. This is where the good stuff happens. Yeah.
Is that you, because listen, I've just written an op-ed piece, and I'm happy to send it to you. It'll come out in the next day or so. I've written several about it so far, and I think the title of it is Disclosure with a question mark behind it, because it seems to me that it's form without substance so far. And my interest in this has always been, if there is something that is going to come out that involves aircraft not of this earth and intelligent non-human life forms, that's going to have a significant impact, certainly on a portion of our population that could be negative for them. It could cause some people to have a serious psychological reaction, and that we need to be prepared for that. And the American Psychological Association, Psychiatric Association, medical associations all need to be planning in advance, because all of our resources as of today are fully deployed, because particularly our young people are experiencing the highest levels of anxiety, depression, loneliness since records have been kept. So I mean, we don't have a lot of undistributed resources right now, and if we're going to have a huge uptick of even 5 or 10% of the population that has an ab reaction to these sort of things, we need to plan for that and be there to support these folks. We need to make sure that elderly people aren't scammed on the internet with people saying you need to sell everything and we'll bury a school bus for you in the mountains to create a bunker so you can be safe from this invasion of aliens, etc. We need to be prepared to support our society if people feel like human exceptionalism doesn't hold true. The evangelical community can have a problem in what their belief systems have been. A lot of things can happen from a psychosocial standpoint, and I take that very seriously. So,
really quick, Jay, I saw you clapping in the back or reacting to this. I think Dr. Phil is the only one here who's actually out talking to it in this kind of a level and bringing up some concrete examples of how people could try and take advantage of others and use this for their own financial gain.
Yeah, 100%, Thomas. And I'm glad Dr. Phil is pointing it out there. Like, he's pinpointing exactly what we want to know, and he's coming out with it. Like he said, the last drop, it was bullcrap. When's the real shit coming out?
Yeah, great points, my friend. Absolutely. Let's continue on. And he's talking 5 to 10% of the people. Okay, Google, how many people are there in the United States today?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Okay, Google, how many people are in the United States today?
Sorry, I don't understand.
It's like 340 million, something like that.
We're talking a shit ton of people. A shit ton of people. Oh, great. And OBS just freaked out. So if it's still running, we're fine. I think it's going to be good here. Let me see where this goes. And I think we're still running. Unpause it.
I think we can handle it. I think people deserve to know. I think they can handle it. I think we need to be responsible in helping them. And you've seen things that would suggest that these kind of preparations need to be made. Not that there's a panic, but we just need to be prepared. So what is it that you have told people that you know and that people are entitled to know?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's interesting that I think HHS and Bobby Kennedy, assuming Trump releases all the information, is going to play a big role to include there's a Administration for Strategic Preparedness Readiness called ASPR that would need to be involved as well to coordinate that response. And I totally agree with you. there's kind of an undervalued fact that you're going to have this behavioral health and public health communication strategy. So in terms of what my, exposure was, I had folks from the retrieval program, I'll call it exfiltrates audiovisual evidence for me to see, both video and photos. And that was, audiovisual evidence of the retrieval.
All right, talking about photos, now that I have control of this back again, if I go into guest solo, no, that's not it. Not that one. On studio interview guest Phol. There's the picture that Daryl was talking about. We've got going up right there that actually goes ahead and shows that particular object looking out. This is the picture that's behind Grusch, looking out the back of the space shuttle, and you can see there's this blob that's there that is unexplained. So people said, yeah, there's a picture of a UFO in the back. Yes, there is. Let's get back to it now.
Little Easter eggs by David Grusch.
Exactly.
Craft, some of the dead cadavers that were recovered, call it the pilots, as I said in my interview with Nancy Mace. And of course, I interviewed a ton of subjects all the way up to the cabinet White House level that had close personal participation in this subject. And of course, because I wasn't hands-on, so to speak, and saw this in person, I brought a lot of those people to the Intelligence Community Inspector General under the Biden administration, so they can hear it from the horse's mouth. They can get information on the locations of where this is being held, where the archives facilities are, where they hold all the program records, etc. And of course, this complaint was, considered credible and urgent. Admiral Haynes was forced to send it to the Senate and House Intelligence Committees in summer 2022. And then I subsequently provided 11.5 hours of classified testimony to the Senate and House Intelligence Committees. Unfortunately, from what I understand, there was a little bit of fear in those committees, especially in the Senate, and they did open up some full-field investigation. I think Mark Werner and Marco Rubio were a little nervous to really up the ante with the deep state that they were tackling. That's probably a longer discussion. And then, of course, the ICIG investigated it. And from what I understand, back-channeled to me unofficially is Jake Sullivan in White House General Counsel Office basically told Tom Monheim, who was the Inspector General for the intelligence community under Biden, and his staff to stop. And they realized they were bumping into White House classified programs, something called special access programs.
So Jake Sullivan, Mike, told Congress to stop investigating it, and they listened.
Well, Thomas Monheim was the Inspector General for the IC at the time, and Jake Sullivan told him to stop, according to Grusch.
Right.
But when they investigated Grusch's claims, they found it urgent and credible.
Right. They did.
Right. So it obviously Jake Sullivan didn't get too far.
Well, no,
with
that was not about Grusch. This is about them investigating what's going on with the program, with all the sightings and everything that's happening. They were trying to figure out what's going on with Disclosure, what's going on with these secret programs, and they were basically shut down by the Biden administration. By Biden's national security advisor, yes.
We covered that when this was occurring.
I know.
That was a big story at the time. And now Grusch is talking about it.
Well, it was a big story back with Jake Sullivan when he was named, when we had those UFOs. First, we shot down one over Dead Horse, Alaska. Then we had one over the Yukon. And then there was another one that was down by Maelstrom Air Force Base, but they shot it down the next day over Lake Huron. And Jake Sullivan was heading up this new task force to investigate these things and figure out what's going on that Rubio and these guys and Warner were getting into. But that's when Jake Sullivan shut down Congress's inquiry into this.
Yep. And it was the administration that shut down his inquiry.
Yeah.
And we knew that. And we knew that he was looking into it during the Biden administration, and we thought something might come out of that. But as we found out, nothing came out of it.
What
and
came out of it was a cover-up.
Yes. Yes, 100%.
Put in place by the Biden administration to prevent the truth from coming out.
Yeah, no, the Biden administration wanted nothing to do with the truth.
Yeah, unfortunately, they should have, but They had an opportunity lost on many books.
Yeah, they deferred to Obama. Just ask Obama.
Yeah, exactly. You still got the picture up, Daryl.
Yeah, that's the zoomed in picture.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks. There we go.
Yeah.
Programs, and eventually they were told to stop, from what I understand. And I would love for Mr. Monheim and Jake Sullivan, who's been in many interesting meetings about this subject. So I'd be curious what Mr. Sullivan has to say for himself when he was the national security advisor in his history on this topic. So once again, I hope Secretary Rubio is helping Stephen Miller at the White House, because I'm hearing mixed messages about Stephen Miller's seriousness. And I hope he understands how this will impact President Trump's legacy if this is botched.
Mixed messages about Stephen Miller.
Yeah, Stephen Miller is not taking it seriously.
No. That's what Grusch is saying right now. But someone other before, just recently, had said Stephen Miller is taking it seriously. Wasn't that Burleson?
Well,
who was his boss?
Was Lou.
It was Burleson.
Wasn't it Lou say that?
What?
Didn't Lou say that?
No, it wasn't Lou. It was Burleson. We're working with Stephen Miller, and he's trying to track it down, but he's getting, what was the story? He's getting blocked by the different agencies. So
he's getting a door slammed in his face.
Right, so is David's information correct, or is his boss's information correct?
Or is this another attempt to become Stephen Miller?
Yes, possibly.
Well, I'll say this. As far as if you look at the facts and the big picture, he said that Marco Rubio did not want to challenge the deep state and wanted to not push this topic. And now we got a recent...
He said, not Marco Rubio. So we can't take every word that comes out of someone's mouth and just take it as the word of the Lord.
Yeah, except for the fact that the point I was about to make is that Marco Rubio came out the other day and said that he is stepping away from the UEP issue and he's going to let Stephen Miller handle it.
Right, because he's busy as the fucking Secretary of State. His hands are busy enough as it is.
Yeah, it's either that or what Grusch is saying is right. He doesn't want to touch this. It's a political football.
Yeah, okay, so we've got a conflict going on here, which means neither of these people are right, and there's something in the middle between it that we need to get to the truth on.
I take the guy you remember when the reporter was yelling at him? Who was yelling at him? Was it Askapol? Hey, Stephen Miller, when's the next release coming? And he just kept walking.
Yeah, because he probably never responds to reporters whenever he's walking around with his family.
That's the guy I'm going to take seriously.
Laszlo not respecting the guys walking there with his little daughter and to leave him alone.
Yeah.
It's always clear to go ahead and talk to someone in the next urinal in the bathroom, but don't chase down their family and their little kids. Come on, have some class.
But let me just ask this. Has anybody seen Stephen Miller talk about this topic?
No.
That's the person I'm taking seriously.
It's a lot of speculation going on. Well, we're getting up, but not speculation. We're hearing conflicting stories.
Right.
And the truth is somewhere in between. So we've got one side, Grusch is saying something about it. On the other side, Grusch's boss is saying something about it. Who's been in more conversations recently with Stephen Miller? Has it been Grusch or has it been Burleson? Or is Burleson telling the public something, but in actuality something else is going on, and he's telling that to Grusch, and Grusch is telling us today?
I think the UFO community is so used to not getting any physical proof that we're failing to look at the governance board and we're failing to look at the scientific. I mean, there's all this progress that's going on and these drops are happening. And now we're wondering, is anybody taking it seriously? I mean, come on, let's just.
Well, talking about taking it seriously, let's shut down this fucking chat and take it seriously with some freaking national security.
Which I'm going to need some more of in a second.
There
Twinkie,
you go. Cheers, my
take
friend.
your drink.
Clinky,
What I heard.
take your drinky, folks.
Yeah, but look, here's the thing.
Oh, sweaty. You're behind.
Yeah.
Bring it out. Come on.
Dr. Phil and David Grusch were both not happy with the drops we've gotten so far. And they both said it in this interview.
Well, who was? I mean, when you're dealt with shit for a long time, right? And forever. You may get another pile of shit, but sometimes you have to dig for the nuggets and say, hey, look, we found some corn in here. We got a clue, right? Or it's like, in Jurassic Park, you're digging through the big pile of shit to find the fucking cell phone. We found the cell phone. There were some very interesting things in there. It's not the greatest, but you know what? It's better than anything fucking Biden or any other president before Trump ever gave us. So yeah, there's a little hiccups, but I hear there's some work to reshuffle management and to bring in some new people to help correct this thing potentially.
Well, interestingly enough, Dr. Phil also said that he's seen clearer videos that haven't come out publicly yet.
Well,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder where he's getting it. Probably the president.
I wouldn't doubt it.
But he didn't say.
There's no Air Force general that's going to Dr. Phil. Hey, take a look at this.
No.
Hey, Phil,
that's
come
Trump.
Here. Look at this on my
That's
iPhone.
Trump with his iPhone going, check this shit out.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
Here we go.
I think the JFK files release, unfortunately, it was just released to the public. I think even as a former intel officer, I still haven't come to a conclusion. What happened to JFK? Did CIA and the mob kill him?
Yeah, of
or
course.
what? It wasn't curated. It wasn't, explained to us what all this means. And I think the same thing needs to happen with the UFO file drops. It needs to be done in a professional way that's consumable for the public.
Well, one of the things that I have objected to is that these tranches of information that have been released with very little context.
Yeah.
So people have a difficult time in understanding, what does it all mean? And I don't think that's by accident, frankly. I think that I think there's a kind of an idea. I spent a lot of time in the litigation arena working as a trial scientist, and I saw clients oftentimes, if you want to hide something, do it in plain sight, cover them up with a sea of minutia, and drop that key document in the middle of thousands of others of documents, and hope that it gets lost in the confetti of documentation. And I'm wondering, as I see these 5 tranches of release and I see these grainy videos, I've seen gun camera video. It is crystal clear if you want it to be crystal clear. And radar tracks and infrared, we're getting very degraded.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah, he may not have said he saw UFOs on gun cameras. He just saw gun cameras. So that may be.
And let's go.
Clear. And radar tracks and infrared.
Radar tracks and infrared. I think he's
but is he just talking about seeing that?
What?
Is he talking about just seeing that, or is he saying that he's seen UFOs
I think he's
tracked in
I
infrared?
think this whole conversation is in reference to
The UFOs.
Oh, by the way, folks, we're like 4 subscribers away from hitting 18,600 subs. Yes, it takes us forever to get to the next one. We're going to be going for 18,700. So please, folks, if you haven't subscribed yet, please help us get over that number. I'd really greatly appreciate it on that note.
I'm playing devil's advocate one more second here on this. He's talking, obviously we're all talking about UFOs, but I think he's saying this grainy video is not as good as other video I've seen, which is gun camera video that's crystal clear. I'm not so sure he's talking about he's seen UFOs on gun cameras. Just saying. I know somebody's got to be the devil's advocate. I mean, come on.
Okay.
I have an answer for that. He did say before this interview with Grusch today, he did say, I think a week ago or a week and a half, that he seen gun camera footage with objects on it, high resolution, and they should be coming out soon. And he was talking about UFOs. So he wasn't specific about it now, but he has said it before.
He has, yes.
That's why the devil sucks. Nobody wants to be the devil's advocate.
Well, Greg is usually the devil's advocate, but he's not here right now, so let's play it.
We're getting very degraded versions of what is available. So I'm concerned about the intention. I don't think it's coming from President Trump. I think he intends for there to be transparency.
Fucking taking advantage of a senior citizen, that's wrong.
tendency here, but I think when it gets into the bureaucratic apparatus, it's getting garbled. So to be clear, you're saying...
This is a quote, Daryl. We got to save this one.
Yeah, I
Daryl
see that
is
one.
more right than a straight edge on a plumber's crack in the middle of July.
So true in so many ways.
that you have seen undisputable evidence that there are craft on this planet that are not from this planet, correct?
Correct. And it's funny, I got tipped off initially. I got access, I have to be careful because some of this is still classified, to a peer adversary's intelligence reporting about what they thought was going on in the U.S. And I learned more from a particular peer adversary about what the U.S. was doing in terms of retrieval and reverse engineering of UAP than I learned from my own government officially until I started spelunking in different archives, talking to people that were...
Oh, quick. Jay, your hand is up.
Yeah, that's one point I was going to bring up too, that David Grusch, he was looking into this also, and a foreign brief had more information in it than he knew. And that scares me right there, that some foreign government knows more information about something that's UAP crash retrieval.
Ooh. I've got something, Jay. I think I know what he's talking about. Remember before he said, go take a look at the Australian intelligence report?
Yes.
And they're telling you about all the things that are out there and how much more they know than us, et cetera, et cetera. And this foreign country was reporting on things going on in the United States. And Bradley, don't write books. They don't show on the screen. Sorry. I know some people like to write books, but this doesn't work. Yeah, I think it sounds like he's talking about Australia, bright and clear, and I wouldn't doubt that.
Well,
yeah, I'm thinking the same thing now.
Let me play devil's advocate again, real quick, like Daryl just did. Australia is not considered to be a foreign adversary; they're part of the Five Eyes. That's the only dispute that I would have with him talking about Australia right
adversaries. Then he got access to Russian stuff, right?
Yes, yeah, Russian and Chinese.
There we go. It's always back to Russia. It's like Marsha every time.
But you know what? If they really do have this kind of research that they've been covering as long as we have, why the fuck are they struggling with Ukraine for so long? They should have won that instantly. What's going on?
You got to be joking me. Come on. We haven't gotten one subscriber this entire show. We're still at 18,596. We haven't gone up one sub. Come on, folks.
No.
Yeah, really. Is everybody out there a subscriber, or they're just like, busy doing something else? I don't know. Just please subscribe. We're only 4 away. Please.
Yeah.
Able to provide me program documentation, etc. And then I had an individual that cleared me into a program that I could learn some of the signatures that we've learned that these craft emit, and how the U.S. tracks it, and how they hide the tracking of UAP within the national intelligence architecture in plain sight, kind of like what you were talking about in courts, where you would never know that was what it was actually designed to do, because everything was buried and certain hardware and certain software processing was on the back end, and you would never know that certain things were designed to do so. And once again, that foreign intelligence reporting, the Defense Intelligence Agency has refused to release those classified documents to Congress. And I know Representative Burleson is likely going to pulse DIA leadership to get that. And once again, where are those documents in the tranches? I mean, I can sit on the top secret intelligence community network for about 1 day, and I can pull a ton of information like that just low-hanging fruit that many people can access who have systems access in that system, and release a ton of more interesting stuff than you're seeing right now. So I really don't understand why the bureaucratic apparatus is resisting so hardly to getting this out there, besides some of the social, psychological, national security concerns, et cetera, that have been mentioned to presidents in the past that have been briefed. And it's really unfortunate. And I hope that Stephen Miller has the wherewithal and seriousness to break this open and enlist the help of certain other people like Devin Nunes who's the chair of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board. And I think himself and his staff would be very helpful to assist too. And I'm certainly happy to assist in my own capacity if I ever got the call or summoned. I never want to go back to government full time. Obviously, I'm a professional staff member for Representative Burleson part time. But certainly they could, ring me up if they needed to, call me in to help solve this very, very quickly for the president, because I know who to call and what doors to knock on.
There you go. I'll rewind this again.
Yeah, play that
People
again.
are saying Grusch wasn't looking for a job or talking about getting a job in D.C. Just listen again. He sure as hell is. This is his pitch.
Would be very helpful to assist too. And I'm help of certain other people like Devin Nunes, who's the chair of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board. And I think himself and his staff would be very helpful to assist too. And I'm certainly happy to assist in my own capacity if I ever got the call or summoned. I never want to go back to government full time. Obviously, I'm a professional staff member for Representative Burleson part time. But obviously, I'm a professional staff member summoned. I never want to go back to government full time.
He doesn't want to go back to government full time because he's already working part time for Burleson, and he does have a real estate job that goes beyond this and other stuff. Like
And
some
the
other
Jerry
contracting
Bruckheimer.
companies trying to put together. Good for him.
Yeah. No, he has other gigs that he's juggling. So,
Of course,
yeah.
yes.
I don't think
Obviously,
he wants to go to D.C. full time.
No.
Hey,
Professional
while you're
staff member
kibitzing,
for
while you're kibitzing, and I'm refilling national security, I just had an epiphany a little bit. Steve, we've joked about Stephen Miller being the devil, and I'm just recollecting what he just said. I hope Stephen Miller is taking it seriously. He's the wrong.
He said Devin Nunes.
You don't want to mess around with Steve Miller. You don't want to be on that guy's bad
He said
side.
Devin Nunes.
No. Before he said he hopes Stephen Miller is taking it seriously. Okay. I'm getting mixed messages.
Oh yeah, it was a while ago. Yeah.
All right.
Gotcha.
Representative Burleson part time. But certainly they could, ring me up if they needed to, call me in to help solve this very, very quickly for the president, because I know who to call and what doors to knock on.
Well, it sounds like you would be a huge jumpstart. Now, you say you have seen.
Hey, Scooby, he said not full time, but he wants to go in there, have a job to go ahead and help point him into the different ways, because that would be a lot of time, and no one works that much time for free, especially with the government like ours that has so much money that they're willing to piss down the fucking drain all the time. Just saying.
And have evidence that there are craft that didn't originate on this planet. Are we talking multiple craft?
Yeah.
Are we talking 5, 6, 25, 50? What are we talking about?
Under 100, but more than 25 is what I could say. And the exact numbers actually are a little nebulous, because starting in the early 2000s, when a lot of money was siphoned for the global war on terror, the big defense contractors started doing their own retrievals, sort of off books, under the cognizance of certain government agencies. So there's a lot in, I'll call it, private possession in defense contractors.
But who said recently that they were going and running criminal enterprises to fund this stuff? Mike?
David Grusch.
They did it again. Troy, not going to fit. Who, David Grusch said that?
Yeah, David Grusch.
Okay. So now he's gone from different companies taking their funding coming in, but he's leaving out the part about the criminal enterprises, because that was a big drop he did before last time he said that.
It was.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Sam, I believe, yes, there's no pilot error that crashed down. But I'm sure he's going to talk about that some of these crafts they believe are remotely piloted or autonomous, and that's why sometimes when they come down and they land, that there's no people on board.
Yeah,
right.
Unmanned.
Exactly. Looks like Dr. Phil's meditating on this one. I like this screenshot.
Yeah.
Not to be outdone by the screenshots we got from Ross Coldheart last night.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God, yeah.
Space. that I think the government doesn't have a full accounting on. So it's really hard to get exact numbers. But certainly we've recovered several dozen vehicles over the last, 8-9 decades or so.
All right. And is there a homogeneity among these that suggests that they're all coming from the same place? Are they similar, different?
There's a lot of vehicle types. You have the disc, you have the sunfish, boot heel look.
Okay, so you have the disc. A sunfish?
Is that what he's talking about? Like the sunburst, maybe?
He called it a sunfish.
I apologize. My mic was on the entire time. I was using my soda stream pumping carbon dioxide in water. Okay, good.
Google kept that out.
That's nice of it.
It's better than hearing oxygen bubbling in someone who can't breathe, so we're good.
Yeah. And it's not herpes, at least.
Hold on. What's that?
There are a lot of vehicle types. You have the disc, you have the sunfish.
Disc, sunfish. We got to figure out what the sunfish is.
Boot heel looking thing. You
the
have
boot heel. We got that. It's the one that's rounded with the flat edge on the bottom.
The boomerangs. You have
the boomerangs. The giant kind of a greater than sign.
Crescent moon looking craft.
Crescent moon looking craft. God, we haven't seen a crescent moon looking craft since. God, that would have been in Washington when the first time they saw UFOs.
Well, crescent moon, wouldn't that be the turkey UFO?
Well, that looks more like a banana.
Okay. All right. No, I see. Yeah. All right. I'll go with that. Banana.
All right. Could be.
Banana.
You have Tic Tacs. You have egg-looking craft as well. Certainly.
Where the fuck are the cylinders? Where's the cube within the sphere? Where are the spheres?
He's still going.
No.
It's very hard to deduce origin because it's not like we know exactly what point in space or time these things came from. But, different types of pilots, if you will, different types of crafts, some similarities in operation and technology. It's sort of like if you're a car manufacturer, a lot of people build sports cars that are in the shape of a Porsche 911 or, a Ford Mustang, but there's many different drivers of said sports cars, if you get the course analogy. So it's, a whole taxonomy of different intelligences from very familiar type of intelligence where they seem just a little more advanced than us to indescribable, non-corporeal type of sentience, goes back to the orb phenomenon that came out in Tranche 4.
Okay, so there's some that are a little bit more advanced than us. We've heard that before. But there's other ones that are just way the fuck out there. And there's a bunch of it in between.
Yeah.
So they're not all just kind of like, just a little bit more advanced than us. Those are probably the ancient terrestrials, as I call them.
That the administration is having this issue with these luminous orbs showing up at a certain sensitive test range. What is that? You can see that it's intelligently controlled. They come in groups. This isn't just ball lightning here, but it's this plasmoid type intelligence. Now there might be a structured craft behind said plasmoid, and that plasma discharge might be an artifact of the propulsion system.
Bingo, bongo, bammo, whatever you want to call it. Exactly. You'll see something that looks like a plasmoid sphere. Everyone says, oh my God, it's a sphere. It's a plasmoid. No, there's another craft. Could be a saucer. Could be something else inside the plasma of what looks like a sphere. The sphere itself is a result of the energy field put off by the craft. As it's moving through our atmosphere, it's going in and it's exciting particles in our atmosphere, and that's how we get that plasma color. So it's not like they're all sentient plasmoids and everyone else wants to run down the road with it. There's a lot of stuff that's in there, and yes, he's got the Charlie Chaplin or Adolf Hitler kind of look with his mustache. He's trimmed everything except right here. You brought it up, and I have not been able to not see it the entire show, and I'm just thankful, God, that someone else went and said that because it's been bothering me the entire show. Thank you, Goot.
Possibly. But we're seeing even weird stuff like that is almost unknowable what it is unless we have some way of studying it or capturing it that I don't know about.
Right. And you have also seen pictures or video or both of life forms that are piloting these craft as well. You've seen the cadavers.
Yeah. Some of the craft we've assessed that are likely drones, and some of the craft that we've recovered, it is true in some of the lore in the public space, we've recovered vehicles that were empty and the pilots were not there. That actually is a true historical statement. But yes, some of it was piloted, and I always find, even though it is my reality, I always feel uncomfortable talking about that because it is such a ontologically shocking thing to talk about the pilots. But what do you know? They look just like what, people have reported seeing, like credible witnesses. You look at the Ariel School event in 1990.
Yeah. Grays. Jay, your hand is up.
Yeah, he said, and that struck me too. Yeah, we found them sometimes and the pilots weren't in them. Now, yeah, you can say some of them were drones, but that's, where did the pilots go? Did they walk off and they're going to come back, or?
No, remotely piloted.
Could be that too, but they didn't say that. The only thing
A380 can take off.
Yes, but the only thing he said was they found them with no occupants in them, so it doesn't mean that they didn't have pilots.
No, maybe not, but an A320 can take off, fly to its destination, and land completely on its own, and that's just an Airbus.
Yeah, very true, but we still don't know if these things had pilots that are walking around still.
They may have been, or it may have been empty, either way. But
they probably let out Bigfoot. They let out Bigfoot to go to the bathroom. They couldn't get him back. They all had to go, and then the U.S. government shows up.
Yeah, there you go.
Reported seeing, like credible witnesses. You look at the Ariel School event in 1994, where 80 school children in Zimbabwe saw what we would call in pop culture speak small gray aliens.
But
exactly.
But didn't Mick West come out and say that the stuff, or someone came out and said that what they saw at the aliens, it wasn't aliens, it was a reggae band who was coming out and setting up on a stage.
Oh, I can believe that. I've seen some pretty fucked up reggae bands.
Yeah.
The small gray aliens, which we kind of knew existed for years and years, and Trush is just confirming what we already knew.
But what about the tall grays? What about the tall whites?
I don't think we ever got those bodies yet. I don't think we ever gotten those bodies yet.
You never know.
Because we're in the know.
Yeah.
We would call in pop culture speak small gray aliens, exactly the way you think. And what do you know? Some of them look exactly as reported by credible observers that have nothing to gain and everything to lose by discussing their experience. And it even goes back to the work of John Mack at Harvard, who was a psychiatrist looking at people that have had these experiences with the phenomenon, and he deduced something is going on. This is not some psychosomatic thing or some mental health condition, and people over the eons have had these personal experiences with these things. And that is a sensitive subject that I know is still kind of stigmatized, unfortunately.
Right, of course. Have any of these pilots or occupants of these craft, to your knowledge, been taken alive?
There we go.
Yes. And I know people who have had direct interactions in a...
So, one more time.
These craft, to your knowledge, been taken alive?
Yes. And I know people who have had direct interactions in a detainment situation, which sounds...
Detainment situation. So in other words, my title card for Living UFO Pilots Were Detained is not fake news. It's not clickbait.
No,
actually said it.
No.
I mean, we are detaining aliens, Thomas. Could that mean the alien interview is real?
That means they are in the possession of the government, but they are not under arrest. They are being detained.
They're sovereign citizens. They're sovereign citizens. They get it. You know, they have the
Oh,
rights.
sovereign citizens, yes, they definitely will be.
I mean, that
they
could mean the
definitely
alien
will be
interview is
arrested.
real, Thomas.
What?
That could mean the alien. That could mean the alien interview is real.
Oh, fuck no. We've never seen an alien that looks like that before that or after that. It doesn't match any of the descriptions of anybody in the whole thing. There's just so many things wrong with it. Jon Stewart, just poof, go away, please. It's bullshit. You know, but if it does come out, I will not eat my hat because it's got film on it, but yeah. And I'm not going to eat a crow because crows are nationally protected animals, so you can't do that. So, but I have eaten squirrel before. That's good. I'll never eat it
dessert?
again.
For dessert or
No,
like a main
squirrel
course?
stew,
Or?
I had it.
Oh, okay.
But I had to go down to southern Illinois on the border of Illinois and Missouri to eat it.
Did you like it?
It was actually sweet, and the meat was really tender.
Oh.
Squirrel pot pie.
No, squirrel stew.
I know. I had squirrel pot pie when I was growing up.
There you go. They're so cute, though. Why would you want to kill a squirrel?
Right.
I actually import peanuts from Pennsylvania to feed the squirrels here in Washington State.
Is that legal?
Yeah, of course. It's on Amazon.
Star Trek and sounds very crazy, but it is true. And I talked to a cabinet member, a former cabinet member, about that, who directly worked the issue for a particular former vice president. You can guess which
Darth
one.
Vader. Darth Vader.
A former vice president.
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader?
Yeah, he just said Darth Vader.
Dick Cheney.
Oh,
Who
yeah,
died.
there you go. Thank you. Because I'm thinking that wasn't Joe Biden. And that wasn't Dan Quayle.
No.
Yeah, Cheney. Mr. Shotgun himself.
Directly worked the issue for a particular former vice president. You can guess which one. Darth Vader.
And were they able to communicate?
Yes. And it is true that some sort of consciousness communication, of course, people call it telepathy. I cannot begin to tell you how it works, but there is some sort of communication like that. And even friends of mine that were on retrievals felt that kind of communication as they approached the vehicle when they were doing cordoning it off, waiting for transport. How that
Friends of mine.
Jake Barber.
Hold on. I've got an expression for that. There you go. No, there's others that have mentioned that, including that oh God, who's that one guy that's from Greer who went and they got the saucer that was down in Central America or somewhere like that? They talked about
Herrera. Michael Herrera.
Yeah, I go with Herrera over Barber any day. Just saying.
I like when Herrera from Indonesia one. It was an Indonesian one, right?
Was it Indonesia?
They're in the jungle.
Yes.
There we go.
that works, what that means, I certainly don't know. I'm as curious as the average viewer on your show on how that works. And it does feel very Star Trek to me. I have no personal experience with anything like that that's outside of my normal, human experience. But that is indeed, what people have experienced in the government with these things. So.
Well, I'm learning about this as I go along, and I'm told that our nearest neighboring solar system.
This is where Dr. Phil goes off into, I really don't understand this shit. He's going to say the nearest solar system is this distance, but what he's talking about is the nearest galaxy. So he's learning. He's not perfect. He's going to get out some garbly-goo here or there, and this is the only part of the interview, but we get the point that he's getting to. How can they're so far away, how the fuck are they getting here?
System is Andromeda, and that it would take
No, they're not the nearest solar system, nearest galaxy. Yes, and he does look like a walrus, the Tankla.
2.5 million years traveling at the speed of light to get there. So if these visitors have traveled from the nearest solar system, it would take 2.5 million years at the speed of light. So, which we.
David's being too nice. He just needs to interrupt him and stop him from talking. Like I would do it. I would stop him right there. Hey, I think you're a little confused. It's the guest's opportunity to do so. Look so much smarter.
We can't do. Speed of light, what's 186,000 miles per second. We can't. I think Voyager is what 10% of that, 18,000 miles an hour, something like that, and that's a spacecraft. So we certainly don't have any of our runway takeoff aircraft fighters that get even close to that. So we can't travel at the speed of light, and if we could, it would take 2.5 million years to go see them. So by the process of just deductive reasoning, they would have to be hugely advanced technologically over what we have. And from what we have seen on some of the tracking and all, their maneuverability would create G-forces that we can't sustain, and we don't have the metallurgy to have the structural strength to sustain the G-forces that making turns at the speeds they're moving at. Our best fighter would look like a yard sale if they made that kind of turn at that kind of speed. So they have to be technologically advanced. And you mentioned reverse engineering being associated with the retrieval, so I assume there's great interest in their propulsion system and how they're doing what they're doing.
Yes.
Is that a huge motive? It seems like if you could reverse engineer that and figure that out, that would revolutionize everything. I mean, the entire fuel systems and propulsion systems would become antiquated if you could reverse engineer what's making these things go.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was cleared into some of the fruits of our labor, so to speak, and there was a lot of programs that, once again, I thought we were defrauding the American taxpayer, because you have a certain smorgasbord of classified programs reported to Congress, and then Congress authorizes and appropriates funds to fund said programs. But then you have this carved out base of technology that is sequestered, and a lot of it has civil application that would, help humanity. And I have to be careful not to infer certain technologies that are unacknowledged by the federal governments. But there's a lot of things that I see civil application and that could be responsibly introduced into society to help us and to also fuel different economies and whatnot. And yes, the closest galaxy, I think it's M31 Andromeda, like you said. However, within our own galaxy, there's extrasolar planets around other nearby stars. But I do caution to ascribe this whole phenomenon as merely just extraterrestrial. That's certainly a piece of the pie. That's likely what some of this is. But there's other, taxonomies of anomalous intelligences, we'll call it, that perhaps it's ultra-terrestrial. Perhaps it grew up here and it left and it came back. And there's shadow biome. There's other types of origins. There's under the sea that we don't understand 70% of our oceans and what advanced intelligence might have developed on the seabed, so to speak. Wink, wink. And so there's a lot of different things that this could be. I certainly don't have all the answers, and I'm not omnipotent and did not have full exposure of the U.S. government's holdings and analysis of that. But we need to be open to a lot of different possible origins, none of which I think conflicts with basic Judeo-Christian theology. But we need to be open to some of that too, because I suspect a good portion of this is not, traditionally extraterrestrial, so to speak.
Do you know where some of these craft, if we have more than 25 and less than 100, do you know where some of these are being stored and or researched as we sit here today?
Yeah, the problem with that is I knew where they were historically up until the date and time that my source at that facility, worked at it. And this is something I told an element of Mr. Miller's task force recently is they're going to have to get eyes onto those facilities. There is a program protection strategy, unfortunately, to move movable archives and materials if they feel like the location has been burned or exposed. That's exactly what some of these CIA programs did during the Church Pike era. So that's not a kind of a conspiracy theory. So up until a couple years ago, I was aware of U.S. government facilities and contractor facilities that both had the documentation and the material holdings and the cadavers, mind you. But once again, I'm out of the biz. I don't have a mole at that facility anymore that can tell me on August 11th, 2026, it's still there, unfortunately. And that's just my own limitation. However, I certainly know what the president was briefed on in his previous, term, and certainly what, Secretary Rubio was briefed on as well. And what
interesting, he's talking about he had moles like Morocco mole from Secret Squirrel was at the particular locations where they are at. And he's saying he doesn't have moles at that facility anymore. Does that because they've moved the facility, or because he's out of government and doesn't have access to Morocco mole anymore?
You need to listen to the next minute, because he's going to tell you that there's still stuff that he knows where it's at.
Oh,
what was given to the ICIG and whatnot. And so it's up to them to do a search and seizure activity at those locations, and also depose witnesses that have that information. So once again, if I ever got summoned, I would solve this very quickly and call up the A-team for the president if he wanted to get control of this issue. But some of it will have to be this process of identifying where things have been moved, unfortunately, which is a unfortunate reality.
They've said a lot of things about you. They've attacked your character. They've done a lot of different things, but they haven't proven you wrong.
No.
That's yet to occur, and I guess it's hard to prove a negative. But I guess my question to you is, if the president said, okay, Dr. Phil, with or without cameras, whatever, if David knows where these things are and gave me the clearance to accompany you there, you have the ability to take me to where we could see a craft and a cadaver somewhere, somehow. You believe you could?
Oh yeah, we could take a little field trip out west, we'll say. Yeah, and we could certainly go to those facilities. So
take a trip out west. Is that what you're talking about, Daryl?
And
what I was talking about was what he just said. Is I can take you. He's gonna continue on here in a minute. He's gonna tell you that they're too big to move.
And we could certainly go to those facilities. So
facilities.
And you believe there would still be something at one of these places that we would be able to actually see, knock on, something three-dimensional that's there.
Yeah. Sometimes certain things are hard to move. When they're particular size, it's a little bit laborious to move. So I think there's some locations that likely are untouched, because I'll be very vague on that, not to spook the herd.
I understand, and I don't. I've discussed this with the president. I've discussed it with Stephen Miller. I've discussed it with Representative Burchett and Luna. I've had discussions, and I believe
Daryl, national security in the laugh.
Yeah.
Clinky, clinky.
Clinky, clinky.
Drinky. Yes.
Winky, winky.
Winky, winky.
Apparently not. Yeah, he said winky, winky. There may be bases on the seabed floor. Winky, winky.
All right, let's get back to it. I rewound it a couple seconds. Yes, Ryan?
Maybe after the show, Grusch can get in the car with Dr. Phil. They can get a half rack of beer, some cigars, take a little drive out west. Wouldn't that be a story?
Phil's on the fucking East Coast. Grusch is in Colorado. But yeah, maybe they could get together and go for a road trip.
That'd be a story to tell, wouldn't it? It'd be like another Nixon.
Yeah, but I have a feeling they'd have to have one of those really fucking huge buses that they drive around, the giant RVs for the really rich people. I'm sure Dr. Phil's got a fleet of those at his age.
Yeah, but man, that'd be something to see to hear about that.
Yeah.
They're gonna fly wherever they need to go with the president because you need security.
Air Force. Yeah.
Take Phil out and show him the bodies.
Yeah, I guarantee you that he's heard that Jackie Gleason, Richard Nixon story, and he wants Dr. Phil to be
Nixon.
His Jackie Gleason.
He was trying to go ahead and break apart statues and shit in the White House to try and find where Nixon hid the information in the White House for the next president to go ahead and get, or the president at this time.
Who are you talking about?
Nixon and Trump.
Oh, Trump was breaking statues?
Well, it sounded like it. A period of time they said that Nixon had hid information that was supposed to be released after so many years about UFOs to the president at that time, and that would put it into 47.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I hope they get some real expensive cigars to go along with them. That's all I have. Thanks.
Yeah, we have to take over Cuba first, but that's not too far away.
President, I've discussed it with Stephen Miller. I've discussed it with Representative Burchett and Luna. I've had discussions, and I believe there are people from the president on down that truly want transparency and believe that the American people are entitled to know their circumstance in the universe. I believe they truly want that to happen. I think it gets garbled downstream. Do you think some of these have been moved to the private aerospace industry in order to keep them outside of FOIA?
Certainly, yeah. And also keeping the funding outside of congressional oversight. So if you're using non-appropriated dollars and you're using a corporation whose net profits are being used to reverse engineer it. And, most famously, there was a DIA program in the early 2000s called OSAP, and they were actually trying to get Lockheed Martin to transfer material to them outside the program for study, kind of outside the onion, so to speak. But CIA leadership denied that. And I have that on very good authority that happened. And you do make a good point about proving me wrong. It's funny. I challenged DoD Aero's office last year in a meeting. I was in a classified meeting with Representative Burleson, and I offered to them, okay, well, I will cross-examine witnesses for you. I named several current and former government officials that ran these programs on behalf of the government and provided them several leads. And I was like, invite me back. I'll cross-examine and extract this information from these individuals. Based on my career in the IC doing certain things, I have an unusual talent for interrogations and interviews. And once again, it's been 15 months and Aero ghosted me and never contacted me again because I guess they were likely afraid of, what I would say or do or extract from these individuals. It's actually quite sad that organization is as troubled as it is. But I even offered to grill these senior executives in front of the Aero leadership, and unfortunately, they never took me up on my offer. So I've tried, and I've confronted the government that's saying that there's nothing to see here as professionally and as calmly as possible. But certain organizations have not taken me up on my patriotic offer, unfortunately.
Well, maybe the last chapter of that story has not been written yet. So I'm interested to have this conversation because I do have a dialogue with them about these things, and I would like to follow up on that as well. I have to ask, it's just in my DNA, David, as this is all unfolding, how are you doing?
Day by day, there's certainly days that, I regret even getting.
It's not how am I doing, how you doing?
Involved in the topic. I had an average at interest at best, prior to getting involved. And I've made a lot of sacrifices. My family's made a lot of sacrifices. Friends were harmed and coworkers. So I think.
Lou's made a lot of sacrifices. A lot of the whistleblowers out there have all made sacrifices. 100%.
Yeah, there's a little self-aggrandizing in some of his speech. My personal opinion.
Yeah. Oh God, Laura's here. Wow. Been a while.
I live with that burden and a lot of mental, emotional, and psychological scars. And
yeah, but you never had to live in a travel trailer in a rat-infested airplane hangar. After you had your RV parked initially, your travel trailer parked in Tom DeLonge's driveway, then he couldn't have it there any longer, and he had to go move to the airport. My God. So yes, he's been through some stuff, but a lot of whistleblowers are been through it. But that's okay. It makes you tougher on the outside, softer on the inside.
And I hope it was worth it. And I really hope that President Trump delivers on his promise. I think this is going to be the singular thing that's going to define his legacy, believe it or not. I think it's not going to be the war in Iran, unfortunately. I'm not going to adjudicate, that.
Okay.
I think that's a contentious thing, but I think Mr. Miller and the president's team needs to realize this is going to be the defining moment of his legacy, because even if Trump doesn't disclose, this is coming out, the genie's out of the bottle now, and it's going to look back on like a...
Wait, the genie's out of the bottle? Really? I think we've got something like that here. Where's it at?
I'm here. Let the bells ring out and the banners fly. Feast your eyes on me. It's too good to be true, but...
Well, we would love the aliens to be like Daryl, but that's okay.
I do like that Jim Backus.
What did the president...
we both do.
know, and why didn't he, get the information out? And that goes to W. Bush. That goes to, other presidents in the past that were... Well,
notice he brings out GW first with Cheney.
Well, I mean, so Bush was he said GW, right? Yeah. I was going to say, it's an interesting fact. Okay.
GW, mission accomplished is all I have to say.
Yeah, right. But, his dad, the former president, was
the guy
president,
who I used to drive around with a thing in the back of my window that said, elect George Bush to the Oval Office he deserves, ... the gas chamber.
Yeah, 1,000 points of light. 1,000 points of light. What was my point? My point, he was the CIA director for less than a year, literally like a month less than a year. He was the CIA director, but he did get. And who was it? Was it Grusch who said that he feels like, or is it who said recently he feels like George Bush knows a lot about, was read into the program? Who was that recently said that? Anyway, just an interesting side fact. A friend of mine's family is very close to the Bushes, and he told me that George Bush Sr., before he died, obviously, was the only president that elected to get a CIA briefing, which you have the opportunity to get a CIA briefing every day on national security stuff. And he elected to have that. He elected to have that to the day he died. None of the other presidents have.
I would probably say Trump probably does. Okay.
No, he's currently the president, so he gets it. But I'm saying they still get
afterwards. But don't forget, Biden got blacklisted from all.
From what?
Biden got all of his security briefings taken away by Trump.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Come on, he's. Woohoo. Yeah.
Oh.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Well, access.
Or is he looking for the Lucky Charms? They're
always after me, Lucky
Yellow
Charms.
Stars. Green clovers.
This information.
Blue diamonds.
And so I'm proud to be a part of that. A defining moment in American history where this is finally coming out, but I've certainly bared a lot of scars, and I have to live with a lot of extra trauma. But I'm a warrior. I'm part of America's warrior class. I was an Air Force officer, and I do my best to cope with it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's not easy, and I hope that you realize you got to take care of yourself in order to take care of your family. And I know you've been, as you say, been very open about your PTSD and all from Afghanistan, and you have to take care of yourself to take care of others. And I know that can get really burdensome and intense, and you've done an important thing and a courageous thing. I don't want you to ever feel like you're in this alone.
No, I appreciate it. That's another reason why I live remote Rocky Mountains, and I hike with my dog every day, and I try to chill out by my creek as much as possible. And I credit my wife, who's a medical professional.
But does he have a paddle?
And if it wasn't for her strength and her guidance and her, frankly, toughness in many aspects, and wouldn't want to mess with her. So she was well trained by the CIA, and I definitely credit a lot of my resilience from her support, honestly. So
I hope she hears this, and here's what I'm saying to you, because I'm sure she will agree with it. I don't know if she knows me at all, but I know she'll. I bet you she'll agree with me about taking care of yourself.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. She wanted me to tell you that she wrote you and Oprah in 2008 as candidates for president and vice president as write-in candidates. So,
all right. Well, we know that she doesn't always have good judgment then, so.
Yes. Hey, you never know.
You never know.
You could be an excellent vice president, sir.
Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, and I want to respect your time, but I hope we can do this again and sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, sir. Be happy to.
All right. It was a great conversation. Thank you so much, and thank you for your courage and what you're doing. And for being here and talking more about this.
God, what a gem, Dr. Phil.
Absolutely.
Whatever is out there, David's story is absolutely a reminder that asking hard questions and getting to the truth is every citizen's right. And listen, I just want you to be critical thinkers. You may believe that there's something there. You may believe we're alone. You may believe we're not. But you have the right to have information and think critically about it. And you have the right to decide what it means to you, whether it's significant to you and your belief systems or not. And look, the government works for us, and we are entitled to get the truth from them.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And it's people like David who have the courage to step up and shine lights on things that we otherwise wouldn't know were going on. And we need to be very appreciative of that courage and strength. So thank all of you for listening. We'll talk to David again soon.
And I want to thank the Dr. Phil and the podcast for putting this out here. Now, generally after you have a long conversation going on coming from someone, I'm trying to get with Dr. Phil with his hands up, there's a rebuttal from the opposite, from the, if the Republicans are talking, the Democrats are going to talk. We've got the Phils here watching the show and everything. And there's been some people critical of Dr. Phil, but I do have a message that was sent to me of someone who doesn't like Dr. Phil or what he's doing for disclosure. You think I should read it, Mike?
Oh, please do. Please do. We got to, yeah.
This is coming from the complete opposite side. We love Dr. Phil, what he's doing. He's bringing disclosure, even fucking David Grusch, to the normies, getting down deep into it where we actually enjoy what he's talking about. But he's doing this in a way going after his subscribers, which are like your aunts, your uncles, your moms, your dads, your grandparents, who, a lot of people, even David's wife even watches Dr. Phil, right? So, along that note, this is a bit strong, but I will read it to you unedited exactly how I received it. Phil is an embarrassment to the topic of science or pursuing out the villains in the military-industrial intelligence complex. You must have have the, quote, National Enquirer, end quote, take up the news source of record. Not every member of the general public is educated to a level that they could change a flat tire. So now he doesn't just have a problem, or he or she doesn't have a problem with Dr. Phil, but it's with the average everyday person that's out there. Spoon feeding them tabloid talking points written for later day Art Linkletter poser for a later day Art Linkletter poser who wouldn't know Jock Valet from Darth Vader is a disservice to scientific inquiry. Any discussion of quantum physics or astrobiology is going to fluster the average pot-smoking Netflix Viewer, wow, this is rough. As I shared, we have a commercial airplane pilots that believe the earth is flat. The general public buy-in to the nature of reality is fiat accompli. They can't even quantify what evidence is proof of reality regarding the phenomena because they still link it to demons and Bigfoot. What are the people that were, or these are the people that were burning witches at the stake hundreds of years ago. The query isn't for them. Reality will do quite well without their adoption to the topic. That's really fucking rough. It's throwing the common person, everybody else out there, Dr. Phil and the whole thing. Let's take the baby Jesus in the bathwater and throw it out the fucking window. That's really rough.
Sounds like he's shitting on the general public. Yeah. Who is the schmuck?
I'm not going to say. I can't say.
He's basically saying that everybody's stupid.
Yes.
Well, let's just take
everyone
let's take a
except
quick
him is stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick poll. How many people know who Art Linkletter is? So that'll give you a good idea as far as how old this person is. So is it anybody that we know?
Not that I'm aware of. It's an email we received from an anonymous subscriber to the channel.
A subscriber. Oh, all right.
A schmuck.
Yeah,
obviously.
You know, I see this stuff with Dr. Phil, and I'm like, finally, we got someone with some common sense. They can talk to the people. Yes, God complex, saying, I am better than everybody else, including Dr. Phil. But Dr. Phil, hey, God, where did I put this in here? Dr. Phil
is educated, has a PhD, and he's worth $500 million.
$500 million, but not only
and
that.
A yacht. A big yacht.
A very big yacht.
Maybe the person that wrote that doesn't understand what everybody else is talking about. So that person feels like everybody else is stupid. No. What I'm saying is he thinks he's smarter than everyone else.
Yes.
Where in reality, you know what I'm saying? Where in reality, he's the dumbest one. So
those are the special people.
Yeah. No.
I mean, they're the special people.
So Dr. Phil is highly educated. He has a BA, an MA, and a PhD, and a doctorate in clinical psychology. He was also a licensed psychologist in Texas and practiced clinical psychology until 2006. Today, he has a net worth of around $460 million. I wouldn't write him or his audience off. At least from my perspective, we all live in an aquarium that someone else manages. And everyone deserves a voice. It doesn't matter how smart you think you are compared to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, great conversation so far. Holy cow, we still have, all right, bunch of people watching. We got 753. Let me go ahead and get back to, I know there's something more in here. I know there's stuff that was covering. Let me get back to interview guest large with Daryl. They're good to see you, Daryl. It's been too long. Have we mentioned the word national security lately? I did get a refill. And I did pour too much. There you go.
Tlinky, take your drinky.
There you go, folks.
Sweaty nerd, don't forget.
The Disclosure tonight, bar and grill is open. Don't drink too much. Have some snacks. We have French fries, burgers, hot dogs, everything you want to have.
I would
even
love
some
all
steak
those.
Sandwiches. Really good.
Actually, that's what I'm eating right now.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, where the fuck was I at? Let's get back into there. And I know I've got more stuff that is in my bookmarks. Everyone on Twitter is blowing up about Dr. Phil at this point. Is there anything new popping up? No, everything is about clips from the episode we just played. What the fuck is even that? I don't want to show that. That's bad. Let me get to my bookmarks and see what I grabbed for today's show. All right, so the Persed. Is this the one? Persed media shower is going on right now. If you haven't gone out and looked out at night, last night was the coup de grace. I know, Scooby, did you see anything when you were staying up in the middle of the night to watch what was happening on the shows? Did you see any meteors?
We could.
Yeah,
It
I
was
seen
loud.
some last night on some shows. There was pretty good ones last night.
All right.
Oh,
So,
show. Yeah, it was cloudy
real
here.
clear outside. I didn't see any difference.
there we go. Ooh. It's like watching fireworks all over again. So this was one on. Here's another one coming from Light Chasers. Let's get rid of the music. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on out there. And they're all colorful. The ones you see look like this, Scooby?
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are
The
you?
corona burst on the eclipse was excellent yesterday, too, from Spain.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about...
I'm just saying, I mean, I saw that, too. Along with
Also, the hot dogs and Portillo's are really good.
One. I'll move past this one, the tranche. All right, so leave that one out of there. We got the Grusch stuff taken care of. This one's really interesting. Turning back the clocks to 2015. What the fuck did they just go ahead and record? What the fuck is that? Hold on.
What the fuck is that?
What the fuck is even that?
Birds.
At 30,000 feet. Those are
the
birds, huh? Moving
the
that
high-flying
fast.
birds. Yeah.
At 30,000 feet, Daryl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Those are the Mylar balloons.
Okay. There you go. There's a good one. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, my God. We got grifting garbage Congressman Tim Burchett appears on the My Pillow podcast, the My Pillow channel.
Oh, no,
to
he
talk
don't.
about UFOs, yes.
Okay, now to the point. Aliens. I am eaten up with aliens and alien life. Very intrigued by it all. And you have some insider information about what's out there. What can you tell us?
Not everything I wished I could, but I think they're real. I don't, and I get people, oh, Bert, you say you're a Christian and all this stuff. I say, God created the heavens there, Genesis 1. Read Ezekiel. He saw the wheel and described something that you and I would describe as a flying saucer if you read the translation correctly.
There you go. Tim sounds like he's about 2 or 3 sheets into the wind. We love you anyway. The David Grusch podcast. Have you heard the news? Dun, dun, dun. The Giza paper that said there were all these great structures underneath the pyramid.
Oh.
It was retracted.
Bullshit.
All the evidence was wrong. The numbers were looked at, and they realized it was absolutely wrong. There isn't these structures. What they were trying to go ahead and see was just bad data, and they interpreted it the wrong way.
Oh, my goodness.
Who would have thought that?
I thought it from the fucking beginning. I mean,
so we got satellites up, and we can see down and see all this stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, God. We talked about this last night. ICE will be spending, or actually they're NICE now. It's no longer ICE, but they're now called NICE. We'll be spending upwards of $20 million. God, we could have brought up this idea for shock gloves to help de-escalate confrontations with illegal immigrants and stupid Democrats, for that matter. The glove is manufactured by Compliant Technologies, LLC, based in Kentucky. If they're public, my God, go ahead and fucking invest in them. Watch what this glove does. It's better than the wrap. You've seen the wrap before, haven't you, Daryl?
Yes.
Yes, the wrap is phenomenal. Now they have the wrap. Now they've got the fucking glove.
Oh! I scream like a little girl and pee myself. Go back with the glove.
It's called non-lethal. A non-lethal ways to go ahead and take people who you're dealing with who want to go ahead and fight back. You just grab them and boom, they go down. Why didn't we think of this, Daryl? This is a freaking genius move.
Because you're eventually going to get sued and bankrupted from the guy with the pacemaker that some cop shocks.
Well, true, but what do you want to show? Oh my God, look at this. We've got an old clip from Wes Decker on Disclosure Tonight. Should I go back to the desk again? Or do we like it how it is? I saw this. I was like, you know what? I got to take a screenshot of that.
Yeah, and it's children. I mean, there's missing children. There's thousands and thousands of children that go missing every year. Some of it can be easily explained.
Watch expressions on my face.
A lot of it
that
can't
was much
be.
thinner than
All
today.
these kids around the world, the hundreds of thousands of people who literally go missing every single year. Where are they all going? I'll rephrase a little bit. Could humans or access to humans have been exchanged for technology? We talked about this earlier in the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been playing with the devil, haven't you? What did you give for access to that technology, for those patents and the stuff that you're trying to figure out? It just
back in the day, that's where Disclosure Tonight was at, and we've upgraded since then. So let's move on. Oh my God, I haven't played this one. I had a clip of Jake Barber the other day. The lure of the edge, bro. Well, here we go. We got a 58-second clip, which will let me hit the restroom. Hopefully, I'll get back before then because, well, prostates and you get older. Let's see. I think we have a different thought on the whole process. Tim Burchett talking about UFO disclosure. Here we go.
I want to play this for you. This is Marco Rubio on aliens because you talk about this often. So listen to this.
I don't know what it is, but there are things flying over our military installation and they're not ours, and we should look into this.
I mean, it's a little creepy, Congressman. What do you think about that?
I've been harping on this for years, as you know, in Congress. Myself, Eric Burleson, and of course, Anna Paulina Luna has been doing a great job with it. And a lot of Congress just turns their back to it. The reality is, ma'am, we're spending millions, if not billions of dollars on researching something. It's not about little green men. It's not about flying saucers. It's what are we spending that money on? And he's exactly right. There are things flying over our military bases. I wish America could see what I've seen in the skiffs and hear from the people that I have. And I think they'd have a different thought on this whole process.
I don't know that I want to see it, but I'm glad that you are seeing it on my behalf. Thank you so much, Congressman Tim Burchett. I want to play this for you. This is Marco Rubio on aliens because you talk about this often. So listen to this.
I don't know what it is, but there are
all right, so we saw it. Tim Burchett's in there talking about it, but the truth of the matter is we deserve the truth of the information that's out there. Let's just say it in that level.
Yes, Thomas.
All right, we got Grusch. We've seen a lot of Grusch today. Sweaty.
What the hell is even that?
What was that?
What the hell is even that? Two slides up.
A fact.
What? Yeah, that one.
This one?
No, one below it. Sorry. That one.
I don't know, but it's over on Instagram, and I'm not going to play it because it's going to take.
Was that from Sweaty Nerd?
That's Sweaty Nerd, and I don't do Instagram anymore.
Oh.
Yes, I washed my hands. My God. What do you think? Right,
Mr. Robertson's neighborhood.
Oh, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. What the fuck is that? Oh, I'm supposed to be in bookmarks where I'm at. Let's get back to bookmarks. We got Dr. Phil. Oh, we got that old doc. We've got that one there. We just saw that one. Oh, we've got the Dr. Phil. We talked about the retracted shit. We saw the new glove. I love the glove. I want to get. You know what, Daryl? I have something in my arsenal here called the scat mat.
The scat mat?
It's like this big, like a foot and a half, 2 feet by about 3.5 feet, give or take.
Scat mat.
A scat mat.
What do you do with the scat mat?
Well, if you have cats that are trying to break into your house or anything else, you go ahead and water down all the area around the house. You put that in front of your front door. And when the cat or the animal comes and steps on the scat mat, actually, when you take the scat mat and you plug it in, it makes the same noise as what a taser makes.
I need to get one of those for
the field, and anything that touches that gets.
I need to get one of those for my front doorstep.
Oh, yeah. That cat will never come back again. Socialist
I'm hoping
agenda,
she doesn't.
Anything else here? What was that? No. I think we've covered about everything in ufology today. Yeah, there were. Okay, this is really cool. They had the eclipse that went on the other day. This was planned by a professional skateboarder.
No pare, por Dios.
And there's all the licensed music that I have to be quiet and talk over because Jesus Christ, hold on, sorry. Let's turn it off, and he gets up there, does his stuff. Talk about a lot of planning. There you go. Get out of that one. Is there anything else? Oh, Avi Loeb discussed an unconfirmed news report by Ross Coulthart, which suggests the Department of War has authorized by the president to engage with UAPs over White Sands. Let's see what Dr. Avi Loeb has to say.
Yesterday, I discussed an unconfirmed news report which suggests that the Department of War was authorized by President Trump to engage with UAP over the White Sands missile range.
Which we've been told by our credible source that story is complete bullshit, right, Mike? Yes, Thomas. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, Thomas. 100%. It's tabloid journalism was the exact quote.
Exactly.
If,
but we knew that.
as reported, UAP were or will ever be downed, then scientific analysis of their motion in response to human engagement, as well as their material structure, chemical and isotopic composition, could test unambiguously whether the orbs or any other type of UAPs represent alien technologies. The related research could be facilitated.
It looks like he wants to puke.
By the UAP science and
when he talks normally, he gets it there, but when he has to read something from a teleprompter, he's fucking. But wait. There's more. He has another picture of himself. He's added more pictures of himself on his freaking mantle.
No.
Advisory Council under my leadership.
Under your fucking leadership, that's right. All right, so
what does the U.S.
So Time Magazine released some stuff. All right, this is interesting. Debunkers will be quick to call this a storm. Insane footage of a supercell over Nebraska.
I am on an incredible at the top.
Well, that's cool.
An incredible
Look at this storm system.
supercell
Holy
by
cow.
Sydney, Nebraska. Look at these textures. They are absolutely insane. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Look at the blues at the top.
Hold on.
There's a few more blemishes on the car.
Just look at this. You got me running. Look at that.
Look at this.
Oh, look at this. You got me running all around the car.
They are absolutely insane.
Amazing stuff going on out there with weather and such. So another shot of the eclipse that was out there. Let's get out of here. See what else I have up here.
That's a nice screensaver.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's a nice
So
screensaver.
tomorrow we'll cover Dr. Phil pushing back on the last drop against Professor Avi Loeb. That'll be a fun one to get through. But, yeah, a bunch of great stuff going on. Disclosure's not dead yet. We don't want it to be. But right now, I think we've covered the hottest topics for today. How about that? Who would have thought?
What the hell is that? What's the
hell was
head?
that? A pro-life advocate who was brutally attacked outside Planned Parenthood. His attacker received no jail time for this crime. Mark suffered a shattered eye socket, severe head trauma, and temporary blindness in one eye. His attacker has been sentenced to home arrest and 3 years probation. If the rules were reversed, would the sentence have been different? Wow, he got fucked. It just shows how bad our judiciary has become, Daryl.
Yeah. Well, so many things going on there. Yeah.
Oh, I know. And this is just my regular feed of stuff. What do we got here? A new car? Nope, not really. All right. So we Lucid just unveiled the Gravity GTS. New vehicle, starting price. Oh, look at that. Starting price of only $126,000, Daryl. If you're thinking about getting that new SUV, there you go. It's only 136 seats.
That's a lot less than Tim's SUV.
Yeah. Oh, God, where's that at?
Oh, it's true. It's true. It's true. It's true.
I'm not sure why there's an echo there. I'll turn off that. Then maybe get rid of it. But yeah. All right. Interesting things going on all around the world. But you know what? It's been one heck of a Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. Thirsty Thursdays, if you recall, Daryl, right?
Thursday.
Yeah.
I still have a lot more left. All right, my second. Yeah. I'm ready to go into the next couple hours of Disclosure After Dark.
Oh, gosh, yes, that's right, folks. If you want to go ahead and hang out afterwards, you got the link. It'll take you to Google Meet. You join in the back. We'll be here for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours.
It's Thursday. It's one
Disclosure Tonight Bar and Grill. Cheers, my friend.
Clinky.
Take your drinky.
And don't forget tomorrow's.
Sweaty.
Oh, go ahead.
Get it right. Sweaty practice. There you go. Actually, I have to go up front for you. There you go. Clinky, everybody. It's been a great, happy Thursday. We made it through it. Bunch of great stuff. Yeah. You know, we were talking about slowing down the show, having us on Monday and Fridays, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But you know what? This Disclosure Bar and Grill is open every night of the week until late wee hours of the morning, where we lock our audience in the back and only let people in who know the special knock.
Yeah. So join the back chat, anybody, because tomorrow's Friday and you have the weekend, and be like my employees, just fake it through tomorrow. Go ahead.
Friday Night Disclosure, my friends. That's where it's going to go. And wow, what a great show! I want to thank everybody for your wonderful super chats here today. If I can find them here somewhere. Oh yeah, we got a news chat system. Let's see who we got. Some Daryl, thank you very much for that super chat. Now I got to fix this, make it larger. What the fuck? It's too small. There we go. Let's turn off the auto chat. Turn on. Happy Thursdays, everybody, and national security. Every chat that comes in, every super chat that comes in goes into our kitty. It helps our production fund. We appreciate it. We don't do advertising. We don't do a lot of stuff. Yeah, we do a little bit of ads, but not what YouTube wants us to do. I want to thank Banana Booey as well as to DX2 Nasty X95X Banana Booey. Thank you very much. And Perfectly Imperfect, thank you for your donation for everybody. Daryl, thanks for coming out tonight. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Thomas, for what you and Mike do all week long. Really appreciate your time. Oh, yeah. I don't know how you do it, honestly.
Neither do I, but you know what? We'll keep it rolling because we've got the magic. We've got the idea. Mike, thanks for coming out, my friend.
Oh, my pleasure. It was a hell of an episode with Dr. Phil tonight.
Oh, God, yeah. Thank God it happened. That was unexpected.
I'm telling you.
And appreciated.
Yep. Nice to hear Grusch putting out the information that he did.
Yeah.
So
remember, we got Lou Elizondo
next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'll be a good one.
That's going to be a great one.
With Lou Elizondo. Help us get through the week.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And on that note, as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure Tonight, Nick, is eyes open, no fear, be safe, everybody, but
go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. We'll catch you on the flip side. There's no balloons. Sorry, folks, just UFOs. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah.